Hi and welcome to Rebecca K Crochet. Today what we are going to be working on is a crunch stitch washcloth. I am going to be using, I love this cotton. I got this on clearance. I don't think you can get this colorway anymore. You might be able to, but I haven't seen it, I don't think. Like I told you before, I am destashing, so most of my stuff is going to be out of my stash that I'm working on right now. So with that being said, this is the colorway Monkey Red. It's got a really cute sock monkey on it. I need to use a US hook size 5.5 millimeter. It is a 4-weight cotton. It says 5.5 millimeter or I9. You can wash it, dry it, iron it, whatever you want to. This one is, I believe, it's made in Turkey, and I believe this is 100% cotton. The other things we are going to need is our crochet hook, which I have a Susan Bates 5.5 I9. You'll need a pair of scissors and a darning needle, and if you want to make your dishcloth larger or smaller, you will need a tape measure. I usually have a tape measure on hand anytime I'm crocheting. Somewhere really close to me anyway, so I can find it, grab it if I need to do anything. How we're going to start is we are going to start with a slip knot. So that is wrap it around. However you do this is up to you. I show how I make my slip knot in a previous video. And then I also show chains, single crochets, half double crochets, and double crochets in a previous video. It's a very short video. If you don't know how to do those, go back and watch that. Then this one, we are going to build on that with a slip stitch. So what we're going to do here is we're going to chain 32 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It should look like that. You don't want your stitches being way wide. Like, you don't want to have your stitches being like that and then tight again or too tight. You want all your stitches to be even. I'm going to go off camera and get my 32 and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is my 32 stitches, as you can tell right here. And it's going to be somewhere around 7 inches wide washcloth. If you want to make it larger, you can. If you want to make it smaller, you can. So what we're going to do now is this loop on your hook does not count as a stitch. We are going to go back. This one is our first stitch right here, the one that's wrapped around and the yarn's coming out. That's our first stitch. We're going to go back 3 stitches. 1, 2, that's our second stitch, 3. And we're going to work into that one a slip stitch. And a slip stitch is you wrap it around and you pull it through that loop right there. Again, let me show you that again. You poke it through, wrap it around. You have 2 loops on your hook, but you pull it through that loop and it leaves you with 1 loop on your hook. Now what that does is that it makes this right here a half double crochet because you've got 2 stitches there, and this one is a slip stitch. So the next stitch, which is right here, we're going to half double. You wrap it around, you poke it through, bring up a loop, and you go through. You have 3 loops on your hook, you wrap it around and go through all 3 loops. Then we're going to slip stitch again, and that is going through, bringing up a loop and pulling it through both loops. I like to hold my work down below. The first round is always, or the first row is always fiddly. half double crochet is the next one. And what that means is that it's the first set row is your setup row, and it's harder to get your stitches right. Make sure that you do your slip stitches a little bit looser than what you're thinking, because they will be tight on the next round and it's hard to work into. And do your slip stitch, half double, and a slip stitch. These need to be a little bit looser. Half double, and a slip stitch. Now I'm going to go off camera, and you repeat that all the way down to the last of the deal. You do your half double, your slip stitch, half double, slip stitch, half double, slip stitch, all the way down the row until the end, and I'll meet you back. Okay, so I'm at the last couple of stitches. I had to pull mine out because I just kept going. So got 2 stitches left on my hook. This one was a slip stitch, so hang on. Yeah, this one was a slip stitch. It's going into that one. So we're going to do a half double into this one, a slip stitch. I guess I have 3 left on my hook. And then the last one is going to be a half double. Now what we do here is we're going to chain 1, because we ended on a half double crochet. We only chain 1 above it because that's going to create our slip stitch for the next row. Then we're going to work into our slip stitch, which is the second stitch. This is the first stitch. We don't work into that one, but our second stitch right here, which goes down a little bit, that one's going to be a half double. And make sure that you get through those 2 loops on your hook. You don't want to work through this stitch right back here. You want to go through this one on our next one. So this is a half double. This one is our slip stitch. So we go through that V right here because this is a back stitch. And if I pull it over, you can see the front, where there's a front stitch right here. You want to go through those 2. So in between that bar and these stitches with your slip stitch, and make sure that you do this a little bit loose. Then your next stitch is a half double. That one can be tricky to get into because if you've done them tight, they will be tricky. Go between the bar and that one with your slip stitch. Make sure you grab both loops on your hook. Half double. See, I have trouble sometimes getting into these. Slip stitch. Half double. Slip stitch. And you do that all the way across, and this is what it should be turning out looking like. You should have little crunches, why it's called the crunch stitch. You have these little bars, which is your half double crochets and your slip stitches, and you do this all the way across, and I will meet you back here at the end. Okay, so now I am at the last stitch on my row, and it is going, because I did a slip stitch here, I'm going to do a half double crochet here. I'm going to chain 1. That counts as my slip stitch for this row, this next row. I'm going to skip this stitch because that's my first stitch right there. And I'm going to work into this next stitch right here. And that is going to be a half double crochet, or no, yeah, a half double crochet into that stitch right there. And then my next one is going to be a slip stitch, a half double crochet in the next one, and you just repeat this process all the way across until you come to the end, and I'll meet you back over here at this end. Okay, I've got 2 loops left on my hook. We did a half double here, so we're going to do, and you can tell that by the 3 loops on the hook. So now we're going to do a slip stitch and a half double in that very last stitch right there. Now, since we did a half, we're ending with a half double. We're going to chain up 1, turn our work. We skip this stitch right here and we go back into this one with a half double right here. Now we're going to repeat that. We're going to slip stitch, but we're going to repeat this all the way across. This is a 1 row repeat is what they call that. And so whenever we get to the end, if we stop with a half double, we're going to chain 1. If we stop with a slip stitch, we're going to chain 2, turn our work and work it back across. Your chain 2 counts as a half double. Your chain 1 counts as a slip stitch. We're going to work that all the way up until we get as high up as we want. You can make this into a scarf. You can do just about anything. I am making a dishcloth, which is what I'm showing you today. So I'm going to finish this out, and then I will be back to show you what the finished project is, and we will go from there. So I will see you in just a minute. Okay, here we are with this finished project. Don't worry about this over here. I was experimenting with some other stuff up here to see if I could make it look any different. But this is for my house, so we're good. So what we're going to do now is we are going to chain 2, 1, 2. We are going to cut our work. Try doing that in the camera. It's like cutting your hair. We're going to squeeze right here where the chain loop is, and we're going to pull down really tight, and it's hard to do with cotton. Then we're going to take our needle, thread our needle, and we're going to weave in our ends. And how I like to weave in my ends is I like to go down here at the bottom and work my way this way, and you'll see me come up here in a minute, on the base of those stitches, but up above, kind of right below this. Don't want to split that yarn there. Pull it through, and then where this comes out right here, I want to go back through over that stitch so that it locks it in place, and it's harder for it to come out that way. And then I'm going to come out right about there, and you always weave in your ends about 3 times. This way, when these workhorse projects like a washcloth, or I think I'm going to use this one for a hot pad, but like these kind of projects that get washed a lot, you want to make sure that you weave in your ends at least 3 times. So that end is woven in, and I'm going to cut the yarn, and we're going to go to the other end over here. Now this is our tail that we had the slip knot on, so we're just going to tighten up the slip knot. If it's loose, you want to tighten it up. Wrong end. You want to thread your needle, and then you're going to go back in here at the base or at the top of those stitches and work your way in and around several of your stitches. You want to do it at least like, that's probably a good inch, inch and a half. Pull it through. And then I'm going to go back up here where the stitches wrap around, since I'm up there. Now that I've got that first one. Sorry, my dogs are barking. Somebody must be here. For those of you that don't know, I have Pomeranians. And anytime somebody's here, my husband works on small engines, and we have a lot of people that come to our house. So that's number 2. Then right here, because it's coming out right there, we're going to go back through this one right here and go and work our way through. And pull that tight and snug. Then we're going to clip this off. And that is your crocheted this way. The stitches are really textured for the crunch stitch. They're really, really textured, so they will give it a really good, the reason I love this cotton is because it's a softer yarn. I was thinking about using this for a washcloth because it's got little nubbly feels on it, you know, it'll scrub you really good. And then my husband said, oh no, I think we need a hot pad out of that. We'll see who wins. But anyway, that is the tutorial for today on Wednesday. I hope you guys have a great day, and like and subscribe if this is things that you want to learn how to do. Every Wednesday I'll have another cotton item. It could be clothing. It could be another stitch tutorial, washcloth, headband. Who knows? Sky's the limit, right? My imagination is the only thing that's going to stop me from doing something. So y'all have a great rest of your week.